Hey folks, this is Kalani. Dragonflight is right around the corner. We don't have too much longer to wait, so what better time to go over some of the best new and updated features coming with this expansion. With so much to look forward to, it isn't easy narrowing down to just 10, but we did our best. So here's our top 10 reasons to get excited for Dragonflight and what we're most excited about specifically. Now before we jump in, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. Now, one of the most exciting changes for Dragonflight is that we will have 0 borrowed power systems. This has been a bit of a plague in World of Warcraft recently. We've seen Artifact power, Azerite power, Anima power, the Heart of Azeroth, Azerite gear, Corruptions, Covenants, different variations of Legendary gear, Shards of Domination. You know, the list goes on. It's kind of crazy. The main problem with a lot of these systems was in part the massive time and effort sinks attached to them, and the simple fact that they all disappeared. We won't have anything like that in Dragonflight, with maybe the exception of tier sets if you think they fit into the borrowed power category, so there is no new AP grind, nothing that you have to farm endlessly for small bonuses and advantages. We're going back to the old days, where all you need is a bit of gear and our characters can hop into any content they want to. Heck, sometimes you don't even need the gear to get started. That's also going to make playing alts so much better in every way, especially when you consider that a lot of the systems that do exist in Dragonflight have more account-wide unlocks than most previous systems. Cosmetic reputation rewards are account-wide, dragon riding talents are account-wide, even world quest unlocks are account-wide. It's going to be great. So we can spend more time playing the game, taking part in the content we find most fun, without worrying about any massively grindy borrowed power systems. Now before we continue, today's video is sponsored by Naraka Blade Point. Naraka Blade Point is an exciting action combat experience with martial arts inspired melee combat, crazy movement, a wide variety of weapons with impressive visual effects, all wrapped up in battle royale goodness. Face off with up to 60 players to be the last one standing. Naraka Blade Point is available to play on PC, and you can now also play on Xbox. The game is also 50% off on Xbox between October 17th and November 1st, so you can jump in at a great price. The game is also available as part of the Xbox Game Pass, so if you already have that, you can get straight into the action. Combat in Naraka is heavily focused on melee, and you need to predict and react to your enemy's attacks to counter them effectively. Using the right kind of attack will be the key to your victory. Each hero also has different unique skills to help you turn the tide in battle, and the game also has a wide selection of character customization options, so you can really go crazy with it. You can click the link in the description to try out Naraka Blade Point, and between the 17th of October and 1st of November, you can get a 50% discount on Xbox. Now, a system that is making a grand comeback is the talent tree system. We have a few twists in here, as you might expect, like having 2 different talent trees to work through. One is for your class with general abilities, bonuses and effects. The other is tailored to your specialization with extra spells, new interactions, and a lot of different ways to build and play. A lot of the previous expansion special effects from those borrowed power systems we just talked about actually made their way into this new talent system, which basically means we get those same powers again, but this time we actually get to keep them and carry them forward for as long as this new talent system stays in play. I actually think one of the strongest aspects of these talent trees is that you can add to them. We could see more talents and traits added towards the bottom to give us more powerful options in future expansions, or they could even expand these trees horizontally and create all new gameplay styles focused on new and interesting abilities. This system is the opposite of borrowed power. It's almost future-proof. It has room to expand and be useful and exciting not only for the Dragonflight expansion, but also for many expansions to come. A fantastic departure from round after round of borrowed power. The talent system also gives you more flexibility for how to play. You can focus into single target, or focus on AoE, or try to mix them up for a good all-rounder build. Take more utility, or trade self-sustain for more damage. There's a lot of depth here, much more than the old style of talent rows that we've had since like Mr. Pandaria or whenever they were first introduced. As an extra bonus, you can now change talents anywhere, anytime, with no rested requirement or any silly inscription books to carry around. You can save talent setups and loadouts, you can export and import layouts as well, and you can even search through the talent trees for specific abilities or effects. I honestly think it's just way better than the older talent system, and it looks very promising for the future of Warcraft. Dragonflight will also bring us a brand new class, as well as a new race. Now, I would usually count these as separate points, but the new race and new class are kind of the same thing this time around. We will be able to play as the Dracthea Evokers. Dracthea can only play as Evokers, and Evokers have to be a Dracthea, so you can see why I said they're basically the same thing. Now, even with that restriction, a new class is always incredibly exciting. We get to experience the World of Warcraft through the lens of an entirely new playstyle. Evokers will also use new types of spells. These empowered spells can be held down to charge them up, and they will do different things depending on the charge level. Fire Breath, for example, will deal more instant damage the longer you hold it down, but less damage over time. So it's going to depend on which type of damage you want in any given situation for how much you want to empower that ability. It's an interesting twist. Evokers use the magic of the red and blue Dragonflights to deal damage, and the green and bronze Dragonflights to provide support and heal allies. Their spells and effects look awesome, and they're shaping up to be quite powerful. They also make great use of their wings, dashing around the battlefield, zooming towards allies, and they can even pick up and move your allies, just in case Jeff keeps standing in the fire. They also have deep breath spells where they fly up, soar across a large area, and breathe fire as they go. But perhaps one of the cooler things about Dracthea is that they can use their wings for real out in the world. The soar racial lets you take to the sky all by yourself and use the dragon riding mechanics to fly all without any help from a mount. That's super cool. All in all, I'm very excited to play around with a new class in Dragonflight. Now we will also see a huge overhaul to the entire profession system. This one is actually crazy, and I still haven't wrapped my head around the whole thing. As a quick overview, profession skill will matter way more than previously. Each item has a quality attached to it, and the higher your skill and the better you are in your craft, the higher quality and thus better items you can make. We're talking things like higher item level gear, stronger bonus effects, more potent potions, higher stats on gems. Quality is going to be very important, so the best crafters will be able to craft the best stuff. Then we also have specializations for professions and an entirely new progression path called Profession Knowledge. You can earn knowledge in a variety of ways, and you spend these knowledge points to specialize in various subcategories of your profession. Blacksmiths can focus in on armor smithing or weaponsmithing. Jewel crafters can focus on creating the best gems possible or the best jewelry possible. There are so many options, and how you spend your knowledge will decide what items you can craft and what quality they're going to be. On top of that, we also have an entirely new way to craft items for other players. We'll be able to place work orders to specifically request items and provide certain materials, including bind-on pickup materials to have those items crafted. You can even have bind-on pickup items crafted for you without the profession being yours yourself. It really opens up endgame crafting potential. It's also not just for crafting professions. All of this applies to gathering as well, so the best gatherers will get the best materials more often to sell to the crafters so they can try and make the best stuff too. This is going to make dedicated gathering players very valuable, so there's really something for everyone in professions this time. This is the most attention and the most changes the profession system has ever seen, and it's shaping up to be incredible. Professions aren't the only system seeing big changes though. The reputation system is going to be completely different in Dragonflight as well. Now when you first look at this, you might get some bad flashbacks, but don't worry. The new reputation system does use renown, and the reward tree is basically a renown track, but that's where the similarities stop. We're going to have 4 main factions to earn reputation with in Dragonflight, and you can earn rep with all of them at the same time. No weird locked-in choices, no restrictions, just good old-fashioned rep farming. When you earn enough reputation, you will go up renown ranks, granting you new rewards and gameplay options. Each faction is quite unique and they offer different goodies, so you're going to want to scout through the rewards on offer and see who you might want to farm rep with. There are a lot of cosmetic options to earn. You can unlock scenarios and world quests, recipes for your professions, and even some gearing options, so there's a lot to gain from rep farming in Dragonflight. Due to these changes, the old breakpoints of friendly, honoured, revered and exalted are gone. The renown track is your new exalted meter. This means we will see rewards more often as we farm rep, and they can also be added in later if that makes sense for the game. All in all, I think it's a great change to a previously very outdated system. But the most exciting part of these 2 overhauls is that it really opens up endgame in Dragonflight. We have so many options at endgame, and you can work on different activities to earn different rewards and fill different niches. We have the good old raiding adventures returning, so you can pillage the Vault of the Incarnates to stop the Primalists and their evil plans, all the while collecting some very shiny loot from the bosses along the way. Or you can delve into Mythic Plus dungeons, which have had their reward potential increased by quite a lot, so that's going to be more rewarding than it's ever been. There are new options for PvP, one of which we'll touch on later, which guarantees everyone can hop into rated content even if you don't have a group to play with, and there are some big changes coming for how gear works in PvP, which should smooth out the overall progression path. But then you can also dive deep into the profession system and become the best blacksmith or the best tailor or jewel crafter in your guild, or maybe even your server. If you can make something specific at the highest quality, reliably, and no one else can, players are going to flock to you for that item. That's the crafter's dream right there. There's a new kind of solo content in the Elemental Invasions, which allows you to farm for a set of decent item level gear all by yourself with no groups required. And there's a new set of PvP gear that you can get from War Mode, so even your PvP gearing options are more varied than before. And then there's also the reputation system to work through for additional gameplay options and cosmetic rewards. There's the dragon riding talent tree that gives you another reason to explore the skies and master dragon riding. The dragon riding races also give you an avenue to show off your skills. There's just so much going on and so many options, and more options for casual players and solo players, and basically just more to do besides raiding and dungeons. Dragonflight really opens up the endgame, and I think it's going to be a fantastic experience because of that. Now, in addition to more varied endgame, we're also going to have more choice when it comes to leveling. Chromie time will extend up to level 60, and the Shadowlands expansion will become a Chromie time option. This updates the game to the point where before level 60 is now considered old content, and the 60 to 70 portion is the new content. I love that Chromie time is being updated to maintain these clear lines, so you'll be able to play any expansion up to 60 instead of being forced through Shadowlands for the 50 to 60 portion. This also means you can just do the entire leveling experience from 10 to 60 in Shadowlands if that's something you'd prefer. More options is always nice. Leveling up to 60 should also be significantly faster when Dragonflight launches, which will help you level up all of those alts. I also think keeping the leveling system updated like this is great for the new player experience, which is also very important for the overall health of the game. It's not just for older content though. Leveling in Dragonflight will also be very different from what we've seen in recent expansions, and hopefully it's going to be a lot more fun, and that's mostly thanks to dragon riding. Dragon riding is a new way to fly in World of Warcraft. We'll earn the right to fly on a handful of very special dragon companions. You unlock more models and options as you level through the expansion, and flying becomes more of a minigame. It's all based on velocity, momentum, and altitude. If you go upwards, you lose velocity, but if you go downwards, you gain velocity and momentum. It's really a lot of fun, and you can go so much faster when compared to normal flying. To help you zoom through the skies, you have vigor points and special abilities. You can spend vigor to gain more momentum or gain some height, or just massively propel yourself forwards. You can even save your current location and time travel backwards if you end up in a bad spot. That's going to be great for puzzles and getting to hard to reach locations. But one of the most exciting things about dragon riding is how early we actually learn it. We will start dragon riding in the very first zone of Dragonflight, so we'll be able to fly, sort of, almost right away in Dragonflight, and we'll have dragon riding for 90% of our leveling adventures. This system also has its own progression path, so not only can you improve the system and its effectiveness as a whole, but this also gives you yet another progression option for your character. It's also incredibly simple. Throughout the Dragon Isles you can find dragon glyphs, usually in pretty high up spots. Collect those glyphs and you can spend them on talent points. That's it. No time gating, no other content required, just you, your Drake, and exploring the Dragon Isles. And better still, dragon riding progress is account-wide. As soon as you unlock or collect your glyphs, those points will be available to spend on all of your ults as well right away, and you'll have access to dragon riding as soon as your ults get onto the Dragon Isles, so you don't even have to wait to get to the questline that initially introduced you to dragon riding. So ults will have dragon riding for 100% of their leveling experience, which will also make ult leveling much more fun and quite a bit faster. And if that wasn't enough, you can also collect cosmetic appearances and changes for your dragon riding drakes. So if you want horns or fins or spiked tails, that's all stuff you can customize. There are also very impressive looking visual overhauls for your drakes that come from more prestigious rewards in Dragonflight. This one, for example, is a gladiator related reward, and then there's also one from the end of the first raid in Dragonflight. I can't wait to see what other skins and special effects the dev team can come up with, because these look absolutely fantastic. Now moving on, another reason to be excited for Dragonflight is the user interface overhaul. I absolutely love the new UI, and I've actually seen a lot of comments asking what UI or what add-ons I'm using in videos where it's literally just this new base UI. So from those reactions, you also seem to love the look of the new baseline interface too. We have a new look for most UI elements, including the player and target frames and the minimap, but we can also move all of this around. You can resize things, customize bars and how many are visible, and get your user interface in perfect order. It's very nice being able to do all of this without installing an add-on, so that's a huge win for the expansion. The options menu has also changed quite considerably. There are new options for how to interact with the game, there's a lot more controller support, which is very interesting, and there's even a search bar, so you should always be able to find exactly what you're looking for despite the massive move around. And then the last point on this list is something I know a lot of players are very excited for, and I am too. PvP players will finally have a solo rated option. The solo shuffle game mode that started out as a humble brawl option is now a fully fledged rated PvP option. So you can hop in by yourself, no group or friends required, smash some skulls, shoot some fireballs, and maybe a little bit of deep breath, claim victory, and work your way up the ranks. You'll be able to earn rated PvP rewards all by yourself, including the conquest currency, progress towards vicious mounts and saddles, as well as seasonal rewards. So if the main thing holding you back from rated PvP was the group requirement, this could be a fantastic change for you. But that's our top 10 reasons to be excited for the Dragonflight expansion. What are you most looking forward to in Dragonflight, and is there anything else that you think deserves a spot on this list? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to all of our members here on YouTube. You can see the names floating by on screen. If you'd like to add your name to the end of every video with a special shout out at the start of the next video, you can find links in the description over to Patreon or click the join button just below this video. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I'll see you next time.